I wasn't planning on going long with today's stream because like we're doing that tomorrow. And right now I feel like the most we can do is kind of sit in our thumbs, you know? Here's what I'm going to say to you guys. Boo? What you boo? It's all happening tomorrow. It's like you get used to watching a sports streamer and they're like the day before a big fucking playoff or something. They're like, yeah, well, tomorrow's the day. And you guys are like, well, don't you want to spend more time making predictions? Here's what I'm going to do. Tomorrow, the stream should be starting. I assume it's going to start at noon. That's the most sensible time for me to start the stream. I have to spend a lot of time today making burritos, apparently. So I need to do that. Wait, Vosh, what's happening tomorrow? Oh, nothing big. Look, concluding statement. I think there is reasonable evidence based on statistically unlikely polling results that the polls that we have seen, which have narrowed the race's odds down to basically 50-50 in every swing state, I think there is a very good chance of extensive poll herding. Poll herding, which is being done in part because pollsters are cowards who don't want to release outliers because they don't want to stake their reputation on a claim that might end up seeing them get, like, you know, burned at the stake. Remember how much people distrusted pollsters after 2016, 2020, and 2022? Pollsters have gotten a lot of flack. A lot of it's also kind of undeserved, to be fair. People go after pollsters when their polling is inaccurate. That's not necessarily meaning the pollsters are wrong, you know? Like, there are margins of error, and people who aggregate polling are giving you odds, not guarantees. I think that pollsters, part of it is them being a bit cowardly. Part of it is them kowtowing to a political environment in which it is potentially like disadvantageous to certain sides to be clear on what you think the odds are. And part of it, I genuinely think, that a big part of this is that people are conducting polls and then running their polls by aggregated AI data of presumed voter behavior to model their polls based on pre-calculated odds that they think sound right. The models that they're using to analyze these polling results are it's like a feedback loop. They are using their bias to construct the models they're using to interpret the polls, and the polls they're getting are then being filtered through that biased model of analysis. If you haven't seen yesterday's stream, you got to see yesterday's stream. We went over a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty happy with the information that we obtained. So I think there's reasonable evidence that things are not as close as we think they are. I think another good point of evidence to this is the fact that, and this is kind of a vibes thing, look around you, dude. There are less Trump signs than there were before, and there are way more Kamala Harris signs. Democrat enthusiasm to vote is as high as it's ever been since 2008. Trump enthusiasm has waned down. We have seen failure after failure from Republican public officials and pundits, them falling off, them getting less attention. Additionally, just at the rallies, Trump consistently cannot fill a fucking rally. He can't fill a rally. Kamala Harris is surging in these rallies. Also keep in mind that in 2022, Democrats significantly outperformed polling expectations. The behavior of Republicans makes me think they're scared. I think there is a decent chance that Kamala sweeps. Is it guaranteed? No. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that Kamala Harris comes out stronger than anyone expected. And I think that it is possible that her victory is so substantial. So why the cynicism for the last month? I think that's a valid question. I genuinely think that I had not expected the poll herding to be as bad as I thought. I think the reason my cynicism is fading a little bit right now, well, I shouldn't say it's fading. I'm still pretty cynical. The reason I'm feeling a little bit better is because I guess I didn't really sit down and consider just how extensive the poll herding might have been. It was always something I expected. Poll herding always happens to some extent, but I never really sat down and went like, okay, let's really look at all of these swing states and compare them to all the polling data we had from 2020 and 2016. And if you look at all of that information, then it's like, wait, hold on, this is insane. We saw you do that live yesterday. Yes, my perspective has been changed. And I think that was spurred by the Iowa poll. That was what spurred my interest in, like, challenging this. Now, this isn't minimizing my cynicism at all. It's just that my cynicism is being directed against pollsters now. It's, again, none of this is guaranteed. None of this is guaranteed. Vosh, you ever going to be happy? I'm a socialist. No. I hope that Kamala Harris gets a sweep. Keep in mind that even if Kamala Harris does get a sweep, that doesn't fix all the problems in the world. At best, it postpones the GOP by 4 years. We will see. Will Kamala Harris fix all these underlying systemic issues that allow billionaires to swing the results of elections? Probably not. Will it win us the House, the Senate? Will she be able to get a single bill passed? No. Well, maybe. Not necessarily. What do you consider a sweep? If by the end of the night tomorrow, we see margins in the ballpark of Kamala Harris up +3 or +4 in North Carolina, that to me would be, because that would be indicative of the whole race. You know, that would be like a, you know, like a, okay, hey, we'll see. That would be big. What's also important to keep in mind is that it's also possible that Donald Trump wins. And I don't think Donald Trump can win in a sweep. I just flat out think that's off the table. I don't think it's possible. He could win in an agonizing, grinding to a halt, like they're still counting and recounting a week from now, kind of, like it could be brutal, and that would be maybe like the worst mental health week for all of us ever. You know? A lot of people here, I mean, you'd be telling your therapist about this for a while. I mean, it'd be like 2016, but worse in a lot of ways. Like, it would objectively feel a lot worse than 2016. I don't know where you were at back in 2016. I had a feeling that Hillary was going to lose just based on, like, populist momentum. I was back in university at the time. Then in 2016, when she lost, I was like, wow, that's really bad. This will be real bad. Real bad. So, you know. But I still think it's more likely than not that Kamala Harris wins. We'll see. And I'll be here through it. I'll be right here. So she can't lose? Yes. Kamala Harris can't lose, and I stake my reputation on this. We'll see how it goes.